All right, guys, we are live. It is Monday, the 21st of October, and I got a great show for you. We are starting off with Lying Kamala by Loza Alexander.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
This is a banger, y'all.
Fuck Kamala.
Camel toe Harris, I ain't voting for that thought. She be playing on my peoples, they be sleeping on the plot. Whoever voting for that hoe, you a op. Trump 2024, we finna pop.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
We ain't voting for that hoe.
We ain't voting for that hoe.
Fuck Kamala.
We ain't voting for that hoe. Yep, lying Kamala. Don't ever tell the truth like lying Obama. We going through the roof in this election with the truth. People still sleeping on it after what we've been through. It's like, damn, Kamala already showing her colors. You dummies are voting for her. It's all because of her color. She not even black. Man, I put that on
not
God.
even black.
But everybody's still lost. Border wide open, letting killers in the states. Better keep your eyes focused on Camilla, cause she crave crime. Bill in 94 ain't got nothing on today. She be legalizing crime and taught Biden how to play it. Y'all voting Democrat, ain't y'all tired? Hating Donald Trump, but Kamala is a liar. We ain't voting for that hoe.
We ain't voting for that hoe.
We ain't voting for that hoe. We ain't voting for that hoe.
Oh, what's going on, guys?
We ain't voting for that hoe. We ain't voting for that hoe. Lying Kamala never been to the border. Human trafficking, she wanna take all the men from their daughters. The sound of freedom is getting them leading the polls.
Ronnie Braun up in here.
Celebrities believe in this hoe.
Jamie Neal, what's going on?
And I say it in my captions, and I say it as a black man. And we don't care about them poll numbers. They ain't cheating again, we taking action.
They ain't cheating again, we taking action.
With that race card narrative, panhandle to the blacks. Different years, same plan with the Democrats. We interfering with God's plan to handle that. And I say it with my chest out. Loads of train, we the best out. It took Kamala to go back to stripping. Cause on God,
tell Kamala to go back to stripping.
Harris, you're fired. Don't nobody really wanna deal with a liar. We ain't voting for that hoe. 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 Now everybody say Camel toe Harris.
Camel toe Harris.
Camel toe
Camel toe
Harris.
Harris.
Camel toe Harris. Camel toe Harris. Camel toe Harris. Camel toe Harris.
What's your favorite curse word?
I can't say it. It starts with an M and it ends with
Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Rap flow.
What's going on, y'all?
Fat Joe, Maga flow. Got these lips tripping in the back, bro. This is for my people up in 94. Whoa, they gon' cheat. We already know the
Favorite
game
cartoon
plan.
nerd with
Man,
the
it's
news
obvious
and
she's
I'm
communist.
back
Just wait,
doing my
fam.
thing.
Y'all gon' find out she about to make it rain, man. Dollar bills falling out for real with inflation. Face it, y'all just love Kamala cause y'all hate Trump. Y'all don't even make no sense, need to wake up. This election is a dogfight, can't break it up. Tell Jesus, give me healing if I can shake it up. Don't nobody wanna diss Kamala. MAGA gang stay hot like you making love. Tell Kamala we will never let her take us up. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho.
Nobody wants to hear your
Everybody
laugh,
know you
ho.
coming last, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho.
Everybody knows you coming last, ho.
Social security, she cutting it for show, bro. She gon' leave the borders wide open like her throat broke. Time rape, finna go crape, but they don't know. Oh no, immigrants coming by the boat.
Everybody knows
This
you
gon' hit your
coming
face,
last,
you gon'
ho.
feel it like a stone toe. Y'all gon' still vote for her cause her skin is cocoa. Even though the proof is in the pudding, people don't know. I can't hear the swear laugh for another year, bro. Watch Kamala sit and do nothing just like a scarecrow. Watch Kamala kill all her babies and make them fear, bro. I ain't finna vote for this wannabe black weirdo.
I ain't
Don't
fitting to
nobody wanna hear your
vote
laugh,
for
ho.
this wannabe
Don't
black
nobody wanna hear your
weirdo.
laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you.
It sounds like Kamala has
Don't
lost the
nobody wanna
brothers.
hear your laugh, ho.
Yeah, to
Don't
put it
nobody wanna
in
hear your
terms
laugh,
that
ho.
Barack
Don't nobody
Obama
wanna hear
himself
your
is
laugh,
using.
ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho.
Hyena
Joe
Harris.
Biden said blacks are a problem. She ain't said nothing, she agreed and it cost us. 4 years put the country down.
What up,
like a
Felix,
dog.
baby?
But y'all gon' still vote for her, I don't get y'all. Problem is, people still delusional without God. Sleeping on the most high is dangerous like
Coughlin.
I would never argue with a lib, I got no time.
Cock Goblin Harris.
Cause it's showtime. Kamala, you ain't did nothing but run your mouth and treat us worse than the immigrants, kicking your people out. You love killing our babies.
That is a very long song.
Raising up crazy taxes and blame us for going crazy, huh? She gon' bring back mandates and full control. I can't believe that she doing this, don't nobody know. Cause they always use division a way to control. What you expect from a fake black Indian hoe?
What do you expect from a fake black Indian hoe? Well, I couldn't have said it better myself, Mr. Alexander. Loza Alexander, everybody. Go ahead and check him out. Give him a thumbs up. I'm glad everybody's up in here. We got a great show for you, I think. We are waiting for the press secretary to come out here and feed us a bunch of dog shit. That'll be interesting. We have a lot of news to go over. There's been a lot of things happening in the world. Nobody's really paying attention to them. And it's sad. It's very sad. Now, what's going on, y'all? I see we got a nice little crowd out here. Who we got out in my audience today? We got Champagne up in this motherfucker. What's up, brother? We got SD. What's SD? Long time no SD. SD was my first viewer. All right, we got Champagne. We got Be Happy. Frank Totten. We got Jamie Neal. Oh, I know her. I've known her for a long time. Ronnie Braun. Michael King. Felix the Cat. Hillbilly Homesteader. What's going on, guys? Be happy. Let's see. Voting opened in Nevada on Saturday, and all of my family went to vote together for the first time. Trump, Trump, Trump. Yay. We want to make America great again. Well, I want to make America great again, too, guys. I want to make America great again. Hey, what's up, SD? Yes. Wait, I'm on the wrong video. Hold on. Something weird happened. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. Let's go to live at the White House. Live the White House. Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening here. Something's not right. Because my video title says Karine Jean-Pierre gives a press interview, but it says next up, President Biden and the First Lady deliver remarks. I don't know. It looks like they got their streams crossed. You should never cross the streams. Oh, God. Horrible things are happening. Hold on. They crossed the streams. I think. Okay, no. All right, well, now we have the First Lady Jill Biden coming out. I don't know what the fuck is going on, guys. It's a bunch of bullshit over at the White House today.
History Teacher of the Year, Alicia Butler.
Even though I guess he's the acting president. Wait, can we all just stop for a second and acknowledge the fact that the man that no one thinks is competent enough to run for president is actually the president, and no one knows who's running the country, and Dr. Jill Biden is now, now, what was the one? Wasn't there a wife, Dolly Madison? Wasn't that it? Dolly Madison, I believe. Dolly Madison. She's Dolly Madisoning the country right now, right? And she's no Dolly Madison, sir. Bitch, you are no Dolly Madison.
Thank you.
Boo!
Please.
Why are you giving speeches? Why is the First Lady doing a speech when in fact it should be the president. I don't know. Why is the first lady holding cabinet meetings when in fact it should be the president?
Yeah, come on in.
Why are we not talking about this?
Boy, we were blessed with this day, weren't we? Wow. So have any of you ever walked through a museum and wanted to touch one of the displays? Come on, be honest. Okay. Have you ever heard a recording from years ago and suddenly it feels like you're in that room, like the present and the past are coming together? Have you ever seen a picture of someone famous and it's helped you to understand that person a little bit better? Good. Okay, I'm sure as you came to the tour, you might have seen people
that's the White
you
House.
hopefully recognized. So that's what I had in mind when creating this updated White House tour. And today with you, we are unveiling a reimagined White House tour experience.
You notice how these guys always want to reimagine things, right? No, that is my speaker. Hold on. Something is weird. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, this is... Oh, God, we have both going on at once. Okay, they're beeping over at the press briefing, right? Let's just pause Dr. Jill, and we're going to go to the press briefing now. Yeah, the White House has terrible audio, guys. We have talked about this before. Diversity, equity, inclusion. It should be developers, engineers, and intrinsically smart people instead. I wish DEI stand for developers, engineers, and intrinsically smart people. Then we'd be getting shit done. But no, DEI does not stand for developers, engineers, and intrinsically smart people. It stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's why we get very bad audio at these events. Yeah, they're still beeping. They are still beeping. Way to go. Way to go, guys. Fucking $4 trillion in taxes, and we can't even get a good audio engineer, guys. No, it's definitely the White House's microphones.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
See, if I cut the volume, it goes away. It's definitely them.
I don't know if you guys want to hear me twice. I don't know if they're fixing it or not.
Oh, okay. They're aware that their audio sucks, guys. Okay, there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, let's get going. I know, it does. Okay, today the Biden-Harris administration is
$4 trillion, guys. $4 trillion. We pay $4 trillion a year for this.
taking a major step to expand contraception coverage under the Affordable Care Act. Since Roe v. Wade was overturned, Republican elected officials have made clear they want to ban or restrict birth control, defund federal programs that help women
Guys,
access,
I'm sorry. It
access
is the
contraception,
White House audio.
and repeal the ACA. Congressional Republicans have also repeatedly blocked federal legislation to safeguard the fundamental right to birth control for women.
Hold on, I'm going to do like a 5 kilohertz shelf.
It's dangerous.
Hold on.
And it's unacceptable. This new
What's
action
unacceptable
under our
is this
administration
audio,
will
ma'am.
help ensure that millions of women with private health insurance can access the contraception they need, including over-the-counter contraception at no cost. At a time when contraception access is under attack, President Biden and Vice President Harris will continue to fight to protect access to reproductive health care and call on Congress to restore the protections of Roe v. Wade into
No, I can only get a
federal law.
3-band equalizer, guys.
Now,
I'm sorry.
the President and the Vice President their response to the recovery efforts continue to deliver for the people of North Carolina, Florida, and all communities affected by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Over 5,500 federal personnel are deployed to North Carolina and Florida. Today,
I can't get rid of it.
Administrator Deanne Criswell
I can't get rid of the beeping.
Sure that resources continue to make it to
Oh, they got it.
communities
Thank
and
God.
survivors who need them. In total, nearly $2 billion federal assistance has been approved
There we
for
go. That's
those
much
affected
better.
by recent storms.
Sorry, guys.
In North Carolina, the administration has approved more than $300 million in assistance. This includes over $130 million for nearly 90,000 households. Additionally, FEMA has approved more than $189 million for debris removal and reimbursement of emergency
Was that
protective
the USA's
measures
heartbeat?
for
No,
the
it would be
states.
going much more
And
erratic.
the
That was far
administration
too
also
steady.
announced that the government will create a brand new program for assistance impact communities with their recovery and rebuilding efforts. Additionally, 15 disaster recovery centers are operating in impacted areas in North Carolina and have served more than 5,700 visitors, and power has been restored to 99% of impacted North Carolina customers due to thousands of utility personnel working around the clock. All of this is thanks to the leadership of the president, the vice president.
Apologies, can you clarify one thing? You
Yeah,
just said
sure.
the president, after you were talking about New Hampshire, that he's making a campaign-related stop. Is
Yeah.
that in New Hampshire, or were you talking about
That's going to be in New
Arizona?
Hampshire. Yep, the Granite State. He'll be making a campaign-related stop, and certainly the campaign will have more to share
Yeah,
on that.
because
And then on the leak of information, classified information
New
about
Hampshire by
Israel's
5 points.
plans toward Iran.
when Biden
There
won
was
it by
a
like
leak
12
of
or something.
classified information last year in April. A member of the National Guard had posted a bunch of documents and whatnot online.
What's up,
Has the
Joker Fish?
Pentagon and the intelligence community done enough since then to
So
protect?
what I can say is certainly we are aware of the reporting. Certainly we are concerned, very concerned by them. Anything about the process and this and how it's being investigated by the U.S. government, I would have to refer you to the IC, the DOJ, and certainly DOD. I'm not going
what
to get
we're
into
talking about-
particulars or specifics from here, but we are aware of the reports and we.
What she's talking about is, I believe this. The U.S. is investigating an apparent leak of top-secret U.S. documents about Israel. Apparently, word on the street is that these documents came from inside of the intelligence community, the Five Eyes intelligence service, and they were leaked on social media, Telegram specifically, is what the rumor is, from a Department of Defense personnel. So that's the rumor, is that we're gonna look into this more. I don't know what this says, but that we're gonna look into this more. But let's go ahead.
We are definitely very concerned about them.
Can you speak to any changes the president might have in mind that he might want to see going forward?
So I'm not going to get ahead of it. As I just mentioned, the U.S. government is investigating this and through the appropriate authorities. So I'm going to let them move through their process, see exactly what happened. I'm not going to get into it from here.
Appropriate authorities,
Speaking of
guys.
classified information, what is the president's plan for voting in the November 5th election?
So the president certainly looks forward. Oh, so serious. I'm sorry. I'm so serious today. Very funny, Darlene. Very good joke. So the
She looks
president
like a
is certainly
jack-o'-lantern
looking forward
today.
to casting his ballot in the upcoming election.
She's
When
dressed
we
like
have
a
more to share
jack-o'-lantern.
about what that looks like, where he's going to be, we certainly will share that. Go ahead, Risha.
Karine. So we just heard from Kirby that the White House is monitoring the progress of the investigative effort to figure out how this happened, not whether this happened. But just for the sake of clarity, can you confirm that the documents in question are authentic and do in fact include U.S. classified intelligence?
Look, I appreciate the question. We're, like I said, we're certainly aware
Hey,
of
what's
the
up, JP?
reports. We are very concerned. I'm not going to get into specifics. I'm not going to get into details. That's something for DOJ, IC, and DOD to get into it, and certainly they can hopefully answer any questions that you may have on this particular matter. But look, as the reports are out there and what we are hearing, certainly we are very concerned by them.
Yeah, it sounds like it was
They're
a
being
U.S.
looked
leak.
into. It's being investigated by the appropriate authorities, by obviously the U.S. government here, and so I'm going to let them speak to it directly.
Right, guys, because it's pretty obvious to anyone that's paying attention that the Biden administration is in bed with Iran, right? I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm sure there's some sort of kickback to the Biden family for all the money that we're giving Iran. And it seems like Joe Biden's loyalties lie with Iran over Israel, right? It seems like the Democrats, right, are what is going on? Weird things are happening. Okay, everything's good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it seems like the Biden administration is in bed with Iran, and now their people inside the administration are leaking information about Israel for the benefit of Iran, right? The Biden administration has resumed paying Iran to manufacture uranium. Yes. That is the Iran nuclear deal, guys, is we pay Iran to manufacture uranium. Now, yeah. So we're actually literally paying them to improve their uranium refining facilities. And Iran can make a nuclear weapon in just a few days. They have what does that mean? That means that they have the infrastructure, they have the uranium, they have the logistics, right? That they have all the parts available in Iran. They have everything that they need to make a nuclear missile. They have it, right? They just haven't put it together yet, right? When they decide that they want to put it together, they'll have one ready in 2 days. Okay, 2 days.
Kirby characterized the concern as stemming from the fact that they were in the public domain.
What's happening? Okay.
So,
well, it's true.
Over the weekend, a member of what looks to be the Department of Defense leaked top secret information about the United States assessment of what Israel plans to do in retaliation to Iran. So there was a leak on Telegram that is a breakdown of our interpretation of what Israel plans to do to Iran. So it was leaked by the Biden administration.
As he talked about it, the implication was that this was classified information. I'm just asking yes or no, was it?
Look, anytime there are leaks like these that end up in the public domain, just reiterating what he said, of course it is concerning. We have the appropriate authorities who are looking into this on our side of things, and I'm going to be really mindful. I'm not going to get into specifics. Was this classified? Was this not classified? I can't get into that from here. That is something IC and DOD and DOJ can get into it on those specifics. But anytime we see any type of classified information that is leaked and that is out there in a public domain, of course we are concerned. Of course, but they can speak to their
they just basically confirmed it, guys. That yes, this is real. Yes, they leaked it. Yes. Yes, they love Iran for some reason.
Authentic, how real, any of those pieces, they can speak to that. I'm not going to speak to that from here.
And then just a quick follow-up on Darlene. I know
we're going to be looking more at this week after the press conference.
Given the potential for political unrest in the days that follow, will the president be here Does he plan to be here in Washington in the days that follow the election?
So, look, the president is president wherever he is. Obviously the number one priority of this president is the American people. Obviously, the security of the American people is also a priority of his as well. I don't want to get ahead of where he's going to be, if he's going to be here or not. We'll have more to share as we get closer, certainly to November 5th and what his schedule will look like. But he is indeed president wherever he is, and so his number one priority is the American people.
Thank you.
Get something.
Whether he's sleeping on the beach in Rehoboth, sleeping in his bedroom at the White House, being medically revived from a stroke, the man is president, right? Even when Joe Biden is leading cabinet meetings, Joe Biden is president wherever he is. Now, where he is, nobody knows. But wherever he is, he's the president, okay?
Thanks, Karine. Elon Musk is pledging to give away $1 million every day up until the election to voters in battleground states. Some experts are saying this is clearly illegal vote buying. Does the White House believe what he's doing is illegal?
So I'm going to have to refer you to the FEC. I'm not going to comment from it. From here.
They're going to go after Elon.
How the president's reacting.
Speaking of Elon Musk, did you guys see that rocket, him catch the booster rocket? That was fucking badass. Even though it caught on fire, I imagine exploded. I don't know what happens after it lands, but it's on fire when it lands. But even though the rocket is on fire when it lands, he caught it with the machine. Isn't that pretty badass?
To this, in terms of does he believe it's appropriate? Does he agree with what Governor Shapiro is saying about how this needs to be investigated?
I would leave it to Governor Shapiro and the legal authorities to speak to this. I'm just not going to speak to it from here. I would have to leave it to FEC.
And if you could just talk broadly about what Trump has also said about making Musk the head of a new government efficiency commission. Does the White House see that as a conflict of interest, given the fact that Musk's companies have so many contracts with government agencies, and it could potentially give him the power to regulate the agencies that hold sway over his own companies?
Well, since that's a campaign-related item there, what they're planning to do next, or what it looks like under, and their platform for his campaign, I'm just not going to respond to it from here.
Any reaction from the president or White House about Elon Musk's role at this moment in the political discussion?
I have no response, no comment on that at this moment. Go ahead, Monica.
On the apparent leak of classified information, how concerned is the president about the message it sends to allies about the way the U.S. handles some of the most sensitive top secret information?
Well, what I can say is we take this very seriously.
Oh, they take it seriously, guys.
Many times already, we're very concerned. This is why the DOD, this is why IC, this is why DOJ are all looking into this. And so I would have to refer you to them. And as I stated many times, it's being investigated. We need to get to the bottom of it. We need to get answers before I can give you anything further from here. But it's being investigated by the appropriate authorities. We're looking into it.
By the
Are we
appropriate
concerned?
authorities,
Yes.
guys.
Are we very concerned? Yes, we're very concerned.
Very concerned.
And so the appropriate authorities are looking into this.
And you just mentioned the president's going to be making a campaign-related stop tomorrow in New Hampshire. He has so far only campaigned alongside Vice President Harris in an official campaign event capacity once. We have reporting that we don't expect to see the two of them together in these final 2 weeks. What is the reason for that?
Well, I would remind folks that he was in Philadelphia just last week doing a campaign event just last week on his own. And so would
he did it all by his little self.
Remind folks that he was doing that. There's going to be a campaign-related event, as I just mentioned, tomorrow, and there'll be more to come. I think there will be more to come. But we cannot forget what we have seen this past couple of weeks. 2 historic hurricanes, right? Let's not forget that.
Everything is historic with these people, right? They were not historic hurricanes. I have seen far worse destruction in my time from hurricanes. You guys remember a little thing called Katrina? Huh? Andrew? Huh? Gloria?
The president was able to, because of his leadership.
Yeah, Philly's a half hour from Delaware. That's true. That's true, Jokerfish.
What his administration was able to do, we avoided a port.
He probably just wanted to stop by Claymont to get a cheesesteak. He probably drove through Wilmington, right? Through Claymont, over past the Tri-State Mall, into Marcus Hook, right? Just so he could get a cheesesteak from Claymont, because that's where he's from. He's from Scranton. No, he's from Wilmington. No, he's from Claymont. No, okay. Well, he's from a lot of places, but I went to his high school. Me and him went to the same high school.
A port strike, right? That's something that he was able to do. And there are just many other, obviously, pressing issues that are not just here domestically, but around the world. And the president has led on those issues. And so the most important thing that the president believes that his job is to continue to be there for the American people, deliver for the American people. And that's what you have seen him do.
A category
now,
2, but they
he's
going to
be out there. I would say stay tuned.
Don't let them lie to you guys. Do you know that tropical storms are moving less north over the last 100 years, right? Do you know that in the turn of the 1900s, it was common for every hurricane to hit fucking Maine, right? Like hurricanes would come all the way up to Maine, right? It was common, right? Don't let them tell you. Don't let them lie to you. Do you know when the worst hurricane on record was? 1919, I think, or 23, or something like that. It took a mile off the state of New York, right? Don't let them lie to you, right? Hurricanes are not getting worse. They're getting better, right? Forest fires are not getting worse. They are getting better. Do you know that in the middle of the late 1700s and the 1800s, half of the United States was on fire. There was like a 200-year forest fire raging across the middle of the United States. Look it up.
There's more to come. I just mentioned New Hampshire. There's more to come in the upcoming days, and we'll certainly share that with all of you.
Finally, former President Trump is in North Carolina today.
Yeah, 1900 Galveston.
FEMA efforts
that's actually
called
true.
The rescue effort,
but
quote,
I'm saying
non-existent. He repeated some misleading information
that's
about
actually
where some
true.
funds have been directed to. So how concerned is the White House still about what that might do to...
Yes, they're blaming it on climate change. Yes.
Not just people taking in this information again that's
when in reality, storms are getting less severe. They're getting less severe, guys.
misleading, but to voters specifically in key states where the devastation of the hurricanes has been evident.
Well, I'm glad in your question you said misleading information, which is true. Misleading information that is being put out there, and it's not just from us. You've heard from Republicans and Democrats, right, in North Carolina, who have said, who have made it very clear, by pushing these types of conspiracy theories, they are dangerous, they are unhelpful, and it is not.
By conspiracy theories, she means provable, objective facts.
It is
that's how the Democrats view the world. They redefine everything. Now, provable objective facts are conspiracy theories because everybody knows that theories are objective facts, okay?
What leadership looks like. I'll say it there like that. And it is a time when you see something like that, these types of hurricanes that have impacted communities the way that they have, both of them, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. It's time that you bring a community together and stand by each other. And so you've heard from, again, the governors of all of these states.
God, this sign language, Trandy, is even uglier than the other one.
In particular, certainly as we're talking about governor in North Carolina, he spoke to this today, and he said the Biden-Harris administration has responded quickly and positively to our request. The federal government has been responsive to our call for help. That's coming from the governor of North Carolina. We also heard from the mayor of Asheville as well. And so we have seen a bipartisan reaction to this, appreciation for what this administration has been able to do. And the reason we've been able to do this work on the ground is because we've had a good partnership with local and state officials on the ground. And this type of conspiracy theory that's out there, it is dangerous. To your point in your question, it's dangerous, it's unhelpful, and it gets in the way.
It gets in the way.
Secretary Blinken is headed back to the Middle East today. Does the White House have any hope that this trip will be more successful than past trips, given that this comes after the death of Sinwar?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I know the State Department, my colleagues over at the State Department spoke to this in greater detail about the Secretary's trip, which is starts tomorrow. He's going to be going throughout the region. He's going to discuss the importance of ending certainly the war in Gaza, securing the release of all hostages, alleviating the suffering of the Palestinian people, and he's going to underscore the importance of getting that food, medicine, and other humanitarian aid. It's important to get that delivered to civilians in Gaza. And he's going to also continue to have the discussions that we've been having for the past several months now about the diplomatic resolution to the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. And so we're going to reaffirm what you're going to see from this trip that the Secretary is having throughout the region is reaffirming our commitment to what I just laid out to our partners across the region. And we do want to de-escalate the tensions and also obviously provide that lasting stability. And that is the commitment that we continue to have. Look,
oh my God,
you're asking me, I know your question was,
what is it about these people, man? All of the people working for the Biden administration, they literally, they just bullshit the whole entire time. The whole entire time they can talk. They can say 1,000 words that mean nothing, right? Right? And Joe Biden can say 1,000 syllables that literally mean nothing because they're not even correctly joined together. But even their press secretary can just talk on and on and on and on and on and literally say nothing. Literally say nothing.
Do we think this will have an effect? We believe, and this president believes, when a diplomatic resolution, a diplomatic conversation is certainly key to dealing with issues that we're seeing across the globe.
Does the president have any reaction to former President Trump using this rhetoric about the enemy from within, and specifically tying it to former Speaker?
From within, yes. The enemy from within. The far radical left, pseudo-corporate, commie-fascist, I don't know what you call it. They're collectivist authoritarians that put corporations ahead of individuals. Yes. Those people are the enemy within. People like you in the mainstream media, right? People like the executives that run Google and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and fucking all those things, right? Twitch, right? The enemy within, right? The people that are right now putting lawsuits. The Department, what is it? The DOJ, I believe, is suing state governments to make it so that illegals can vote. Yes, you heard me right. Not that illegals can vote, but that they can't be removed from the voting rolls, thus enabling them to vote. Do you see how that works, right? These are the enemy within that the president is referring to.
Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff this weekend.
Look, it is, that type of language is un-American. It's dangerous. I was just asked about misinformation that we have been seeing during, certainly before the hurricanes hit, and certainly now as after the impact and what we're seeing on the ground, and how we're trying to work with our partners on the ground to make sure we get relief to folks on the ground. And that type of misinformation, conspiracy theories, is only hurtful.
It's hurtful,
and
guys.
that is
it's
not
so hurtful.
what Americans want to see as a leader. That is not what...
Well, according to the polls, and we're going to get into those here in a minute, that's exactly what the American people want to see from their leader. Because Donald Trump is killing it.
What they want to see as a leader. And it's also disrespectful to our military. To ask our military to react or to do something in such a political... such a political way, we should respect our men and women. They should be respected. They put their lives on the line for us, and we should...
What the fuck is this bitch on about?
Respect them, and it's incredibly disrespectful to them as well. And so it's un-American.
Yeah, free
it's
speech
dangerous,
is un-American.
and it
You're
should stop.
absolutely correct. War is peace. Free speech is censorship, right? Fucking, you know, healthcare is baby murder, right? What do you call it? Affirming your gender is cutting off your dick, right? To affirm your gender, you have to remove your genitals, right? Listen, that's how these people are.
Thank you, Karine. Is there any latest understanding from the White House on when Israel is going to respond to Iran's missile attacks?
Look, I think we've been pretty consistent on that. This is something for that decision. Any military operational decision is up to Israel. We've been very clear in our commitment and our commitment to Israel's security. That continues to be ironclad, but that is something for the Israeli government to speak to.
And is there any word on what that response would look like? And is there sort of a red line?
I'm just not going to preview that from here. Us previewing that from here would certainly give a heads up to the Iranians. It's something that we're not going to be doing.
Oh, you mean like you did when you leaked when you leaked the fucking documents, right? No. Oh, us telling you when we think they're going to strike is going to give information to Iran. But us leaking documents telling them where they're going to strike, that's totally fine. That's totally kosher. That's above board. Kosher.
But that is, aside from that, that certainly is something for Israel to speak to.
Thank you, Karine. I wanted to ask about the contraception rule that the administration is putting out today. As you mentioned at the top, the president is proposing a rule that would require insurers to cover the cost of over-the-counter contraception. The Congressional Review Act allows lawmakers to overturn federal regulations that are implemented in the final stages of a presidential term. And I'm wondering if the White House believes that this type of rule could withstand that threat, or if you think that anything that happens in these last few months is potentially subject to congressional reversal.
So look, that's getting into a hypothetical that I'm just not going to do from here. Look, it's going through a rulemaking process, as you know, from the moment that the president made this announcement. It's now in a rulemaking process. We'll hear back from the public. We feel pretty confident this is going to move forward. And the reason why, as I stated at the top, why we're doing this is because of the Dobbs decision. It's because now we have women out there who don't have what they need on their own health care because Roe v. Wade, which was law of the land for almost, our constitutional right for almost 50 years, were stripped away. And we have made that commitment from this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, to protect women, to do everything that we can. Now we're expanding ACA. Now we're providing this potential opportunity to give the women opportunity to make those difficult decisions and to have also the availability, obviously, of contraception. And so that is...
Look, the Biden administration has done everything it can to kill as many babies as possible and replace them with illegal immigrants, okay? What more can we do, right? We're giving away free baby murders and free food to immigrants. Like, we're doing everything we can to blacken the country, guys.
That is our commitment that we have made here. I can't get into what Congress is going to do, the hypotheticals from here. What we can focus on is keeping that commitment that we have made to women and families across.
But unfortunately, the Democrats' plan to brown America is backfiring on them horribly. Because you know what? It turns out Hispanics aren't down with all this gay shit, right? They're not down with all this political identity politics, and they consider themselves to be white. So every Hispanic that they import into America actually diminishes the proportion of votes that they get by 20% over time. Because as I reported to you in 2020, and you guys all told me I was crazy, Hispanics are now breaking Republican 60-40. 60-40, yeah. Looks like they shot themselves in the foot. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it that the Democrats didn't even properly plan out their coup?
Across the country.
And then tomorrow in New Hampshire, CNN is reporting that President Biden will appear with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders tomorrow. It's an interesting contrast to Vice President Kamala Harris, who today is appearing at a campaign event with Republican Liz Cheney. I'm wondering if you can just talk about the rationale of the president's to appear with Senator Sanders tomorrow and what message that's meant to send to the party.
So look, I think if you think about the commitment that both of them have had, the president and Senator Sanders, you are correct. He is going to be traveling to the Granite State with Senator Sanders, and they have been partners, right? They have been partners on a lot of these issues, including lowering cost for healthcare. We know that this is an issue that's incredibly important to Senator Sanders. So for us, it makes sense. It makes sense to be doing this event together. They have been partners not just on this, but on other important critical needs of the American people, and this is what you're going to see. I cannot speak for the Vice President's campaign. She's doing what she needs to do. I'm going to let her campaign speak to that. The President is going to continue to go into states and have really important conversation.
Hey, what's
and let's
up
not forget
there,
the Inflation Reduction Act
poor
was
dirt
incredibly
farmer?
historic in lowering costs and health
Welcome.
care. Was important
Welcome
in
to
one
the
of
show.
the most historic pieces of legislation to deal with climate change. There's a lot there that we believe that the American people need to continue to hear from him, and he's going to have Senator Sanders, which he really looks forward to being in the state with him on that issue.
Would you say that it's accurate, as some strategists have argued, that this is an effort by President Biden to embrace the more progressive flank while Vice President Harris tacks to the center in these final
What
days?
the president is doing is going out there, speaking directly to the American people, and talking about how he's delivering for them, how the Biden-Harris is delivering for them, whether it's lowering costs, climate change, powering up an economy, continuing to move that economy forward. That's what you're seeing from this president, and he's not going to shy away from it.
Great, thanks. Zooming out from this breach, which I know that you're not going to discuss the specifics of, but you've had, over the last week, private correspondence between the Secretaries of State and the Pentagon, to Israel, this Air National Guard leak from a year ago on Discord, the investigation into Rob Malley. Is there a problem safeguarding sensitive information?
What I will say is the president continues to have complete confidence in the agencies, right? Whether it's DOD, IC, or DOJ, and he has complete confidence in them. There is this is being looked into.
Well, that's because he's a fucking
investigation being
retarded,
done by the
demented
appropriate
idiot.
parties, and I'm not going to get into it. Are we concerned? We are very concerned. We are. We've been very clear about that.
Yeah, no, Joe Biden is not
and
doing anything.
It's being looked into, and so I'm not going to go beyond that.
Since the Discord leak, has the administration, or what has the administration done to further safeguard national secrets?
I'm not going to get into
Nothing. They're selling them to the highest bidder, right? They're fulfilling their fucking bribes to our enemies that put them in power.
into any specifics on that as it relates to this particular moment of what we're seeing.
I haven't seen him
with the
doing
reports
jack
out there.
in over a year.
It's being looked
Yeah,
into.
me neither.
We are very concerned.
Biden doesn't get anything done.
IC, DOJ can speak to this particular incident more broadly, these reports. I just don't have anything else to share beyond that.
Yeah, no shit, Michael. Michael King says, Joe Biden has stopped taking the secret documents home and putting them in his garage. I doubt that. I mean, if he was stealing secret documents as a senator, imagine what the documents he's amassing as president, right? Right now that he has the authorization, right? Imagine what he's taking home now, guys.
Again, this is why I'm referring you to IC, DOD, DOJ. They can
Imagine what Zelensky has access to, guys.
Speak more to this.
Zelensky probably knows your social security number.
Thanks, Karine. While the president was in Germany, did the issue of authorizing Ukraine's use of long-range missiles deeper inside Russia come up during his bilateral meetings with the Germans or his meeting with the European Quad, particularly given the approval that some NATO allies have provided? Did they urge him to provide support for this?
I'm not going to get into beyond what we've been able to share on the readouts. What I can say is that policy has not changed. And we said that. We said that going, I remember saying this at this podium before the president left to go to Berlin, Germany just last week, and said our policy stance on that hasn't changed and it wasn't going to change, and don't expect any announcements. So it still stays the same. I don't have anything to share beyond that, beyond what we've shared in readouts.
And then on a different topic, there's a report that Israel gave the U.S. a document outlining its conditions for a diplomatic solution to end the war in Lebanon and allow people to return to their homes on both sides of the border. Can you confirm this?
What I can say is that many times we get certainly views from
Here comes
the
the word
Israeli
salad.
government.
Everybody
We
get a fork and some Italian dressing. Get you some Italian dressing and just get ready for this word salad.
Their views on things, and certainly the back and forth. I've said many times that we have regular conversation with
Poor
with
dirt
our
farmer.
counterparts.
Poor dirt farmer wants to know. He says, if you're too incapacitated, that's what the report really said. I'm rewording what you're saying here, but I believe this is what you mean. If you're too incapacitated, too old and forgetful, is exactly what it said, to go to trial, that doesn't matter. You can still be the president. Yeah, and not only that, poor dirt farmer, but not only can you still be the president, but your wife actually can just run the country for you while you're laying on the beach in Delaware, getting injected full of amphetamines, right? Right? Not only can you still be the president, but you can just let your wife run the country while they inject you with the amphetamines all day long, right?
In the Israeli government, but I'm not going to get into diplomatic or private conversations from here. Okay.
And no one cares. No one cares. We're just letting this happen, right? Like, there's about to be a full-scale war in the Middle East, and we're just letting it happen. We're just like, okay, let's just send a couple thousand U.S. troops over there. Let's just send thousands of U.S. troops into Israel, right? Which is something I'm against, by the way.
This administration has warned Israel that it could lose access to some U.S. weapon fundings if it doesn't produce a dramatic increase in humanitarian aid coming into Gaza. Have you seen so far any dramatic improvement?
No, we only give them $4,000
So here's
billion.
what I'll say to that.
We give the government $4 trillion. They spend $6 trillion. That was last year. Like, they're over that this year. They're already over that this year, right? Of that $6 trillion, $1 trillion is debt, right? So that's roughly 17% of our budget, right? Is interest on the debt payment, because the debt is like $38 trillion, right? So we spend $1 trillion on that $38 trillion in interest alone. That doesn't pay the principal. That's just the interest, okay? We spend that $1 trillion. That $1 trillion represents 17% of our budget. That's after we borrowed $2 trillion, right? So it's actually 25% of the federal income, right? Which is around $4 trillion. And then they go on and they spend an additional $2 trillion.
We are working to surge humanitarian assistance into Gaza. So just a couple of things just to update all of you over the weekend.
The future, right? They are paying, essentially they're paying the interest on bonds that you bought 20 years ago, right? That's what that interest payment is going to pay the interest on those bonds, essentially, is the idea, at least in theory.
And we welcomed the airdrop by the UAE of food parcels into central Gaza. We also noted the resumption of deliveries last week into northern Gaza as well, including through the Vital Lifeline from Jordan, with 129 trucks entering northern Gaza last week after an unacceptable slowdown since October 1st, which we've talked about just last week. That number must further increase over the coming week, and we are grateful for Jordan's...
Oh, yeah, it's totally out of control. Guys, you guys haven't noticed inflation is back? I have. I have a very low amount of money I can spend. I have totally noticed inflation is creeping back up. Coffee is up 50%. Eggs are back up. Cheese is up. Bread is up. Yeah, inflation is roaring back, guys. It's like 10 or 20% over last month. Well, you'll notice when you go to the grocery. Look at your coffee, look at your bread, look at dairy products. They're all up.
Leadership in organizing these deliveries. We also call on all parties to cooperate in distributing the many hundreds of truckloads now.
There's a lag between spending and inflation, right? And then plus the Federal Reserve reduced the federal interest rate, right? So they effectively printed more money and then made money cheaper to borrow too, right? Because they're trying to juice the election by lowering the interest rate. But what they did was they brought inflation back. So it's crazy.
On the Gaza side of the Kerem Shalom crossing, the armed gangs threatening and looting deliveries from this platform are keeping vital supplies away from those in desperate need. And we here in the U.S. as the largest contributor to the humanitarian response in Gaza, and will continue to support all efforts to surge and safeguard assistance and enable its distribution into all areas of Gaza. And one of the things that I just stated earlier is that the Secretary is going to speak about, Secretary Blinken, is how do we continue to upsurge the humanitarian assistance into Gaza. So that is going to be a priority, part of his discussions throughout the region as well. Okay, Jared.
The the House task force investigating the Butler, Pennsylvania attempted assassination.
We're going to be talking about this here in just a minute, guys.
Pretty critical of the Secret Service, especially as it relates to the coordination and communication with local police. One, does the White House, the president, have a reaction to that? And two, does the president still have full confidence in the current leadership at Secret Service?
So look, the president has deep respect for the Secret Service, and he knows that they have an extremely difficult job. He knows that the men and women who are part of the Secret Service put their lives on the line day in and day out. And so we're going to review the report. I'm not going to comment on the report right now. We're going to review it.
Yes, the low rates are detrimental.
This morning, so and I would add, Secret Service has also acknowledged.
Not only is the low rates detrimental, they haven't increased the rates high enough to curb the spending that they're doing. So, regardless of what the rates, whether they lower or raise the rates, they are not raising them fast enough to curb inflation, which is something that Donald Trump is going to have to do when he comes into office. Is like, I mean, he can't do that. It's up to the Fed. But he's going to need, they're going to need, they'll probably do it to him just to fuck him anyway, right? So they're probably going to rapidly raise rates under Donald Trump just to fuck the economy, okay? Which is, it's going to look bad, but it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing. We need a culling.
their own shortcomings, and they have taken several steps to enhance the former president's protection, and so they're continuing to do that work. And the president has also been clear from his point of view as well to the Secret Service to make sure that they provide the highest level of protection for the former president. And so that is what he's asked for. We know that the Secret Service has made some changes, enhancing certainly the protection of the former president as it relates to the report we are going.
There needs to be a lean year. Right? That's just how cycles work. You can't go up without going down, right? You always have to go down to go up, right?
Going to review it.
Is President Biden confident in his own protection?
Yes.
That's how natural systems work.
There have been multiple power outages in the island in recent days. So I was wondering, is the White House monitoring the situation, particularly for signs of unrest? Thank you.
So we are closely monitoring the blackouts on the island, and so we are concerned about the potential humanitarian impacts on the Cuban people. And so, bless you. And like we have seen.
The blackout is probably cover for them to go and kill all their political enemies. I don't know. I don't trust the fucking commies down there.
Over the past few years, Cuba's economic conditions stemming from long-term mismanagement of its economic policy and resources has certainly increased the hardship of the people in Cuba. And so, certainly, just want to make clear that this is not the U.S. is not to blame for the blackouts on the island or the overall energy situation in Cuba. The Cuban government has not requested any assistance at this time, and so we will.
He wants lower rates, but wish in one hand and shit in the other, right? The powers that be, right, are not going to do what Trump wants, first of all. And second of all, we need to raise rates, right? They've been going easy on Biden, but that needs to end.
Assess the appropriate next steps.
What a better excuse than just to fuck Trump over.
Request any assistance. And so a critical tenet of the Biden-Harris administration policy as it relates towards Cuba is to always advocate for the support of the Cuban people. And we've been always very clear about that. And so we'll continue.
A follow-up, and I know this is a hypothetical, but if the Cuban government were to request assistance, would the Biden-Harris administration be willing to provide it?
So we're going to, if that were to happen, we certainly would assess the next best steps. They have not. Again, it's a hypothetical, and so we're going to assess what's the next best step to do. Oh, go ahead.
There's a recent report about how a number of Senate Democrats that are running for re-election are having ads that show images of President Trump, touting their own cooperation with President Trump when he was in office. People like Senator Bob Casey saying that he bucked President Biden on fracking and supported President Trump on trade and tariffs. Does the president, as the leader of the Democratic Party, have any thoughts about members of his own party talking about how much they've worked with President Trump in the past?
No.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, right, which is very telling, by the way, in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, Democrats are talking about how much they like Trump's policies, right? Like they're trying to align themselves with MAGA, right? And this is good. I've said this before and I will say it again. Trump is the last true liberal left in government, right? Trump was a liberal his whole life, and Trump hasn't changed, right? I was a liberal my whole life, and I haven't changed, right? It's the country has changed, right? The country has slid to the left, so now true liberals, right, are now conservatives, right? So, yes. So, in places like Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania where I'm from, we are real big on liberal ideas. When I say liberal ideas, I mean the 1800s kind of liberal, right? Like the free enterprise kind of liberal, right? Like the good liberals. Like that is the American way, right? That is the American idea. Liberalism is the American idea, right? And Trump represents that. I believe in that, and that's why I have to vote Donald Trump.
You all have talked about the former president as a threat to democracy, talked about how much danger he would be if elected once again. The fact that other Senate Democrats aren't having that same message, is that concerning at all?
Look, I'm not going to speak to each
Now, ain't nobody going back to gold coins.
Doing, in their campaign.
The Republic will fall before we go back to gold money. That's just how it is. We can't. We can't go back to gold money. The Republic will fall if we go back to gold money. Do you understand? We can't. Once you go fiat, you never go real.
Campaign. That's a political, certainly a political campaign and a political reaction to whatever they need to do on the ground. So I'm not going to speak to that. The president stands by his comments, his fight for democracy. He stands by what he saw on January 6th. He stands by the threat to democracy that we saw on that day, a dark day in our democracy.
The threat to democracy, a legal and fair election, right? The threat to democracy is Americans rising up and saying, hey, you guys stole this election and we all know it, right? We see it. We can see how you stole it, right? Here's an interesting thing, guys. Here's a little side note. Let me go ahead and pull this up while we're talking about it. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Hold on. So Virginia is switching to paper ballots. Okay. So, Virginia is doubling down on election security with a new directive from Governor Glenn Youngkin that recently issued Executive Order 35 is designed to make sure every legal vote in the Commonwealth is counted accurately and securely. Okay, let's see here. If you prefer to drop off your ballot instead of mailing it, Virginia's got you covered. Drop boxes across the state are monitored 24/7, right? So that way one person can't deposit 100 ballots into the box, right? They're watching it, right? If anyone thinks that they can sneak their way onto the voter rolls illegally, think again. The new order outlines what happens to non-citizens who attempt to register to vote, either accidentally or on purpose. Right now, the DOJ has sued Virginia to stop this from happening. Isn't that telling? Right? But the cases get referred to the local Commonwealth's attorney and the Office of Attorney General. So there are serious consequences for anyone caught trying to break the rules. And also, they're doing like a mandatory paper ballot, right? So there's a paper trail, right? So this is the reason why Donald Trump may win Virginia this year, guys, is because Virginia is cleaning up their election, right? They have a new Republican governor, and it's in his best interest to make sure that the Democrats can't cheat anymore, right? And this will be the true sign. If Virginia goes Republican, right? And it looks like it will. Then the Democrats have been stealing the elections the whole time. They've been stealing elections, right? If Virginia goes Republican with all these new security measures in place, right? Then that's, in my book, that's strong evidence that they stole the... Remember the 5th of November. I will. All right. So, yeah. So, let's go back.
Democracy, when you saw 2,000 people go to the Capitol because they were told to by the former president, because they didn't believe or were told not to believe free and fair elections, while meanwhile dozens of Republican judges were able to say, hey, yeah, no, this was a free and fair election, and they didn't believe that because they were told not to. And what we saw on that day was horrific. It was horrific, and it was indeed an attack on our democracy. The president has spoken to this many, many times, and so that's who I can speak to. I can speak for the president. I'm not going to speak for other senators and how they decide to move forward with their campaign.
Aw.
Go ahead, in the back.
Well, we want you to
I
speak
wanted
for
to
the
ask about the
senators.
upcoming presidential transition. When was the last time that Jeff Sessions and the group of people working on the transition met with representatives from both campaigns? And can you provide an update on where you are in getting ready to hand off?
So I don't have any specifics for you at this time. I'm happy to get more information on where they are with that particular piece. I just don't have anything
understand
to
what
share
they're
on
talking
that.
about.
As you know, we've offered our assistance to both campaigns as we.
Who cares?
Fiscal 2024.
All right, we're just going to stop. We're going to stop. I don't see Ducey or Jackie, so we're just going to stop her little interview here. We're going to move on. Because we have more important things to talk about, guys. Real issues that matter, okay? And this is the one that matters the most, okay? And this is not something that you're going to hear, okay? But it's true. HHS data. Child sex trafficking reports have tripled under Joe Biden. This, guys, shocked. Are you guys shocked? Guys, are you shocked that the president that everyone believes to be a kitty-sniffing pedophile has enabled child sex trafficking to triple under his watch? Amazing. Who'd have thought that would be the outcome? Okay, guys. The sex trafficking of children has tripled during the Biden-Harris administration, according to according to the Freedom of Information Act. A rising number of youth sex traffic cases were posted at the Department of Health and Human Services after the freepress.com demanded the data under FOIA. HHS is responsible for checking and issuing certification. Hold on, let me fix my monitor here. Certification and eligibility letters to the children and youths who first requested aid after escaping sex traffickers. So these are only the ones that have escaped, right? So really it should say escaped child sex workers have tripled under Biden, right? We don't know how many children are being pimped out, right? We just know that the ones that have been caught have tripled, okay? That's how I'm reading this, okay? Under border czar Kamala Harris, HHS issued 1,143 letters in 2021, 2,226 letters in 2022, and 2,148 letters in part of 2023. The agency has not released any data since September of 2023. So there's more than 2,100 in 2023. What's up, Tam Tam? Yeah, this is horrifying, Jamie. Tata Rhodes? Okay, let's look her up. Oh, Tyler Rhodes without an H. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we will get to that after we do this, okay? Okay, this is the wrong one. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my mouse. The batteries are almost dead. Okay. Okay, that's not it. Hold on. That's our next one. All right, here we go. The incomplete data adds up to 5,517 letters since October of 2020, an average of 1,900 letters per year. So, 1,900 children every year since Biden has been president have been rescued from sex slavery. Roughly 2,000 kids a year, basically. Under Donald Trump, it was 562 per year. Now, I don't know if that means that they're finding more kids or that there are just more kids per capita being sex trafficked. We can't know that from this information, okay? Young migrants are subjected to abuse and prostitution as they become indebted to smugglers and their affiliated trafficking gangs. TheFreePress.com's Madeline Rowley reported on October 14th. Sex trafficking victims often suffer horrific abuse, as I discovered when I spoke to Landon Dickerson, the 36-year-old executive director of Bob's House of Hope in Denton, Texas. I don't think that Denton, Texas is that big of a town, is it? Anyway, the only shelter for male sex trafficking victims age 18 and up in the country. The only one. You don't even think about the poor male victims, right? You all think are little girls, but no, it's little boys. That's what they want the most, right? There is a substantial evidence that many of the 540,000 unaccompanied alien children welcomed by the Biden-Harris regime either volunteer for abusive work or are forced into abusive work. At least 50%. 50% of 540. That means there's 270,000 child sex workers smuggled into the country by Joe Biden. I'm sorry, Champagne, but somebody has to talk about it. Nobody else will. So we have to. Federal investigations into sex trafficking of these children under President Donald Trump were stymied when then Senator Kamala Harris added language to a spending bill that barred information sharing with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. So, understand this, that federal investigations into sexual trafficking of the unaccompanied alien children under Donald Trump. So when Trump was president, Kamala Harris added language to a spending bill that stopped the ICE from sharing information about smuggled sex trafficked kids, right? The same person that was put in charge of the border, right, under Joe Biden to bring 500,000 children to this country to have half of them sold into sex slavery. Right? That was Kamala Harris that did that. And now she wants to be president. This is fucked up. This is fucked up, guys. Let's read on. Tragically, hundreds more underage sex trafficking victims won't be rescued because we do not know about them. Without the public's help, tormented sex trafficking victims remain in the clutches of manipulative criminals who seek only to enrich themselves at the expense of vulnerable juveniles. Yeah. So that's that. Now, whistleblower. HHS whistleblower describes world awaiting the children who enter the U.S. Tara Rhodes first brought that troubling fact to light as a Department of Health and Human Services whistleblower in November of 2022. Last week, she appeared before Senate committee to discuss numbers that have reached into the tens of thousands, her chilling testimony revealed. Realizing that we were not offering children the American dream, she told lawmakers, but instead putting them into modern-day slavery with wicked overlords was a terrible revelation. Radas was employed by the Council of the Inspectors General on Integrity and Efficiency when she answered a call by HHS to assist with processing migrant children coming across the southern border. She was assigned to an intake site in Pomona, California. She soon witnessed members of MS-13, perhaps the world's most violent street gang, serving as escorts for children coming into the U.S. When she informed her HHS superiors, the problem was ignored, and Rodas was perp-walked off the site with her credentials removed. So when she reported to her bosses that these children were being picked up by gang members, she was walked off the building, out of the building by security, and had her security clearance removed. That's fucked up. And this is all under Joe Biden, right? They're fucking smuggling little kids into the country to do horrible things to them. And then if you try to stop them, you lose your job. Right? Think about that. Think about that. Rodas told show host Tony Perkins that HHS officials sought to scare everyone from telling their stories publicly. Children are recruited and exploited. We saw that in multiple cases, she said. The journey is not free, and children with no money are in debt to their smugglers. Actual numbers of migrants who have arrived in the U.S. during Joe Biden presidency are hard to achieve. But congressional and other sources have estimated between 9 and 15 million people. And we saw in another report earlier that at least 550,000 of them are children. Let's see here. Children are coming from Guatemala, El Salvador, all over Central and South America with smugglers. Some of them are dying. A New York Times report uncovered a situation where children have fallen off roofs trying to work jobs for which they're not qualified. Okay, so out of the 250,000, not all are put into sex slavery. Some are working in meat processing plants, I guess, roofing, it sounds like, things like that. So not all of them are being pimped out. Which, you know, it's not bad for children to have to work jobs. It's good for them. I had to do it when I was a kid. Let's see what people think. Interesting and sad. I linked this page to my Facebook account to friends. HHS's mission statement is to enhance the health and well-being for all Americans by providing for effective health and human services and by fostering sound, sustained advances in the sciences underlying blah, 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 blah. Releasing kids to MS-13 repeat smugglers who rent kids and call them family members so they can get across the border. Labor trafficking, sex trafficking. Remember the movie The Sound of Freedom? The U.S. government needs to pay attention to whistleblowers. It's not that they're not paying attention. It's literally that they're involved. They're culpable, right? Joe Biden is literally fucking some of these kids that come across the border. And you know it. They're ruining construction salaries. That may be true. It's 420 somewhere. Haha, right here. Better red than dead, y'all. Better red than dead. Better red than dead. Now, so that's the state of affairs. Oh, I'm still choking. Hold on, I need a drink. Let's see here. Okay, now, a new congressional report outlines stunning failures by the Secret Service in first assassination attempt against Donald Trump. So, they fucked up. Why can't I hear it? What's going on? Volume. Let's just hear this guy talk.
Task force investigating the first assassination
Oh, that woman has a sexy voice.
attempt on Donald Trump.
I love the way Australian women
security failures ahead of the shooting at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The task force calls the events of July 13th, quote,
I don't even know that's Australian. That's some kind
CNN's
of fucked
national
up
security
European
reporter
or
Zachary
oceanic
Cohen has the latest from Washington. Zachary, give us a sense of the findings in this
She
report.
sounds sexy, but she looks like a horse
Yet
face.
another damning assessment of those security failures at Donald Trump's July 13th rally. And this report includes new testimony from local officers where they describe in their own words those chaotic moments from when local officers first spotted the shooter at Donald Trump's rally to the moment that shots rang out. And that includes also the moment when they first realized that Thomas Crooks had a gun. That's before shots were fired. One officer described...
Bullshit. They realized that boy had a gun about 10 minutes before he shot the president. Bullshit. You see how they're lying? You see how they're changing the story that we all saw happen? We all watched the videos. We all know it happened. These guys are full of shit.
Describes popping his head up onto that roof and shouting, an AR, an AR. He has an AR-15, referring to that automatic rifle. And yet it's shocking because this report concludes that no evidence has been found by this bipartisan task force that message ever reached Trump's detail
Sex
before
trade
the
is
shots
a
were
cover
fired.
for organ
And it speaks to the
harvesting.
broader
Maybe it's both, huh? Maybe they pimp them out until they're no longer cute, and then they cut out their hearts, right? Remember, they disappear. Remember, half the ones that go into sex trafficking disappear forever, guys. So they're murdered at the end, okay? Yeah, so that probably is true. You're absolutely correct, Frank. I mean, I don't know if you're correct, but that's quite astute That is an astute observation, sir.
Communication breakdown, right, that occurred at this rally and what Secret Service has been tasked with trying to fix at a time when we are in the peak election part of the election cycle. It's really raising questions about the Secret Service's ability to continue to protect not only Donald Trump, but also Kamala Harris as they are on the campaign trail, these large events, large outdoor events in a lot of cases that present similar challenges to what Donald Trump's rally in Butler did. But it's also increasing pressure on Secret Service. There was an independent panel convened by the Department of Homeland Security that recommended a complete overhaul of the Secret Service leadership.
We need a complete overhaul of the whole entire system, right? It starts with getting all of these people that, like, there needs to be term limits, 2 terms for every office. That goes from Director of Homeland Security, the fucking head of the FBI, all of it. 2 terms. That's it. That is it, right? Right? And there needs to be more randomness in the system on how we choose these people, right? I don't know. There needs to be a degree of randomness.
In the wake of their investigation into the security failures at Trump's Butler rally. That's more of a long-term recommendation, but here in the next 2 weeks, as Election Day approaches, Secret Service is under immense pressure to ramp up security and has ramped up security around Donald Trump. Ultimately, though, these failures, like the ones detailed in this report, still raise lingering questions about their ability to
Epstein thing is a
appropriately
cover-up for
protect
Ukraine
Donald Trump
arms
and,
trades?
Kamala
I
Harris.
don't know. Okay. Yeah, so Secret Service fucked up. We need a complete overhaul of the system. Speaking of intelligence services continually fucking up, U.S. is investigating itself for leak of its own documents. I'm sure that investigation will go real far. Now, U.S. officials are investigating themselves after the leak of 2 top secret documents that show American spy agencies tracking possible Israeli preparations for conducting an attack on Iran. The region has been on edge, awaiting Israel's response to an Iranian missile barrage, which Bibi says will occur before the election. The U.S. officials said that the leaked documents appear to be authentic. So they are really leaked documents. They really did it. And both documents have markings on them that say they are top secret. The headings on the one of the documents reads, Israel Air Force continues preparations for strike on Iran and conducts a second large force employment exercise. Okay, so they're not that bad. Top secret is not even really that bad. Right, so it's probably somebody on a lower level. Like everyone has access to top secret. That's nothing. Okay. Let's see here. The second document is labeled National Geopolitical Intelligence Agency, the name of the American spy agency that specializes, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. My bad. The name of the American spy agency that specializes in analyzing satellite imagery and other sources of intelligence. Oh, God, I want to work for them. I would be good at that job. The heading of the document reads, Israeli Defense Forces continued key munitions preparations and covert UAV activity, almost certainly for a strike on Iran in October of 2024. The text of the document says, we cannot definitively predict the scale and scope of the strike on Iran. "16th of October. Well, that's already happened. So, and such a strike can occur with no further geo-int warning. It also states that Israel appears to have dispersed its medium-range ballistic missiles, or MRBMs, as a defensive measure to protect them from Iranian attack. Yeah, what what I noticed that was weird, guys, was that Iran seemed to get through. More Iranian missiles seem to hit their targets than have hit before. Like, I've watched a lot of strikes on Israel, and you see the Iron Dome and David Sling take down pretty much all of them. You don't see them like strike like I saw like lines of missiles hit like bam, 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 and that's not supposed to happen. They're supposed to be 99%, right? That didn't look like 99% to me. Yes, you're correct. Well, no. Yes and no, right? No. Top secret documents, right? What you're talking about is like for congressmen to see them, right? Yes, the documents, all top secret documents have to be viewed in a skiff, right? But the whole entire Pentagon is a skiff, right? Or pretty much the whole entire Pentagon is a skiff, right? So, so people inside the intelligence agency are always in a skiff, right? Basically. Right? So for if I worked at Department of Defense, right, I would be able to view the documents in my office because the whole facility is secure, right? But yes. What you're talking about is like inside of the Capitol when like a senator wants to view them, right? Yes. There is a skiff that's for viewing them, right? That's secured by intelligence, right? They self-destruct like Mission Impossible. No, that's just a briefcase full of papers, right? There's an agent with a briefcase handcuffed to his arm, and he opens the briefcase, he sets it on the desk, and he lets you trade one paper for one paper. Okay. Yeah, and they're saying that these documents are, it's not the first time that they keep leaking documents. All right. Now, if you guys haven't seen, there's a video of Donald Trump serving French fries. Right? Trump works the fries at McDonald's on Sunday in Pennsylvania. Right? Because he's actually served more French fries than Kamala Harris ever has. Donald Trump showed up for a quick shift at McDonald's. He seems to know his way around. I'm going to say this is not the president's first time in the back of a McDonald's. He even brought out crowds that tight security and the national media watching. Yeah, he even tells the girl in the video that she's a good-looking lady. I was like, oh, what a pimp. Yeah. Yeah, he's trolling Kamala Harris, it says. Yeah, but the president still has time to hit on hot women, which is why we love him. In the video, Trump could be seen at the drive-thru window handing out bags and waving at the crowd, stating he's having a lot of fun. Yeah, all jobs are fun your first day. He took he looked like he adapted. He likes sales. He likes to stay busy. So when you go for a McDonald's shift, you work nonstop. He loves the place. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up shifts. All right. Yeah. So Trump is still the king when it comes to owning the press, guys. Still the king of the press. Still owns it like no one else has. All right, now, we're going to talk about Bubble real quick, guys, because I have been working hard with the AI to speed up Bubble, right? And optimize it, right? And one of the problems that we have with the Bubble program is transferring images, because images are huge, right? For instance, right now I'm sending 18 frames a second, I believe, or 24. I'm either sending 18 or 24 frames a second, and it costs me about 1 megabyte to do that, okay? So that means each frame is about 40 kilobytes, right? That's some pretty good image compression on the OBS, right? So, but OBS has special hardware. Inside your video card, there's special hardware for decoding videos, right? Bubble doesn't have that. But what Bubble does have is images. Right? And so I'm just going to show you guys what I've been able to do. Okay? Here's what I've been able to achieve. All right. So, here's the original image I shrunk that I started with. Okay? It's just a picture of my YouTube, right? This is my original image. Let's just go to full screen so you guys can see it. Oh, okay. That's way too big. Hold on. Okay. That's good enough. All right. Well, no, we need to get in up here too, actually. All right. So, that is the original image. Okay. Well, no, actually, I need this too. Okay. That's the original image. All right. Now, here, this is what it would look like if you just shrunk the image, right, and blew it back up, right? This is just shrinking it by 90%, right? So it's 10 times smaller, right? And then blowing that big image, that little image, back up to full screen, right? So that's what just shrinking it and blowing it back up looks like, right? Right? Now, here is my image, right? This is 92% smaller. So it's actually smaller than that image, right? Here we go. Right? So this is with my custom file shrink, my custom image processing algorithm. Now, this is extremely fast. Even on my shitty laptop. No, it's not lossless, but you really won't be able to tell. There is some loss, right? If we blow it up, right? Right? We can see some color banding right here. Right here. Hold on. Right? Right here, around the letters, we can see some color banding. We can see some of the red got lost right here. when we blow it up even further, while it appears to be lossless, it is not. If we look even closer, we can see the text is slightly blurry. Let's go back to the original image, okay? Right? Let's go back to the original image. And you can see now you can see the difference when I do that, right? There's the original. Here's my 92% smaller, right? Yes, the file got way, way smaller. 92%, right? So, it got way smaller. So here's the original, right? This is 500 kilobytes, right? 500, right? That's the original. This is 35 kilobytes, right? So it's 12 and a half times smaller. 12 and a half times exactly. No, mine actually does a lot of crazy transformations. I might do a video about it. It doesn't. It pulls. It's voodoo, right? I trick your eye, right? I reduce the bit depth. Okay, so what I do is I split it instead of into RGB. I split it into HSB. Hue, saturation, and brightness, right? I take the brightness channel, I reduce its bit depth from 8 bits to 4 bits, okay? And I do the same for the saturation channel. I reduce it from 8 bits to 4 bits, right? And then I shrink the color space, right? By like a lot. Like I just resized the color image down to 6.9 times smaller than it was before. I reduced the saturation channel by 3.3 times. I divided by 3.3. And then I reduced the brightness channel by 1.65, right? So 1.65 times 2 is 3.3. And 3.3 times 2 is 6.9. Right? Yes. Or no. 6.6. Yeah. So that's how that works. Right? No, mine just we just prioritize how you see the image, right? I use some tricks that old TVs did. And in fact, it kind of looks like an old TV. If you really look at it, I can show you. You kind of get that, like you can see it, like right there. Like the shadow on the microphone is not quite as good. Like here, if we zoom in on his shirt, you can see the shading is a little bad, right? On this guy's head, there's like the shading is a little bit not as good, right? But overall, it's a trick. It's a trick. I trick your eyes. That's mostly what it is, right? Because it has to be fast. And this algorithm will compress 70 frames a second. 70 frames a second, guys, is my compression rate. But my decompression is only 30, right? And my target frame rate is 18. So we're well within those limits, right? So what we can So it will be possible to create live streaming over Bubble. And it will only it will be possible. It will be possible, okay? So yes. So this is actually taking me 2 weeks to do this image compression algorithm. And I'm pretty happy with it. Like there are some distortions, there's some blurring, but overall, considering our priorities, I'm very happy with it. It's either this or no images, right? So I think that we can all live with this, right? Most people won't be able to tell the difference, in my opinion, right? Hell yeah, Cloud. Good job. Yeah, so that is my new image compression algorithm. And that's the kind of quality we can produce. Remember, this is 92% reduction in size. The AI said what I did was commendable. So, yes. It's awesome, I think. Okay, great. So now, speaking of voting, you're going to help me segue, my friend. All right. Now, here we are. Donald Trump is going to win the 2024 election, guys. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Donald Trump is winning in Georgia. Even all insider advantage, right? Insider advantage, which is a heavy left-leaning poll, right? Predicts Donald Trump will win Georgia. Right? In fact, Kamala Harris hasn't had a positive showing since the 26th of September, guys. So, it's over. Donald Trump wins the election. Now, but we're not done. Donald Trump will win Pennsylvania. Right? Even Trafalgar has Donald Trump favored to win the election by 3 points in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump only needs Pennsylvania. Right? Donald Trump has won the 2020. He's already won. Unless they shoot him, he's going to win the election. Unless they shoot him and he dies. Right? Because they can shoot him all they want. And he will live. That's what he does. Right? But they have to shoot him and kill him. That appears to be very hard. Now, Wisconsin. We don't know how this is going to turn out. Donald Trump is slightly ahead by 0.2%. Right? So there's no knowing how that will end. But we don't have an election in history or in modern history, like in the current century, where Pennsylvania votes one way and Wisconsin votes another, right? Michigan, Wisconsin. Those three states are lockstep, right? So if Pennsylvania is going Trump, that means Michigan and Wisconsin will also go Trump, right? Because we don't have a modern election where that doesn't happen. It would be unusual, right? It would be unusual. And here's your graph, right? Donald Trump is actually outperforming Donald Trump in Wisconsin. Yes. No, Donald Trump is tied with himself for his best performance in Wisconsin. So, Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. I mean, we don't even need to look, but let's just look at Michigan. Donald Trump is leading by 1.2% in Michigan, which would be right in between his lead in Wisconsin and his lead in Pennsylvania. So that kind of gives you an idea of how it spreads, right? So Pennsylvania, he's up by 1.8, Michigan 1.2, and Wisconsin by 0.8, right? So Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States. Now, Donald Trump, in my opinion, is going to win Virginia. Unfortunately, there's not been many new polls in Virginia, right? There have not been any new polls in Virginia for a while. But in my opinion, Donald Trump is actually ahead in Virginia. They're just not saying that. Yeah, that's right, Tam Tam. If they allow the election to take place, you're absolutely correct. He's going. Donald Trump. It looks like there's going to be a down ballot effect, right? Because we see in Wisconsin and Michigan that Democrats are, that people running for office in those states are putting out pro-Trump ads as Democrats, right? Talking about how they're willing to work with Donald Trump and how they have success with Donald Trump in the past, right? Oh, there's going to be shenanigans, but as we discovered, right? Governor Youngkin in Virginia has put in place ballot security initiatives, such as drop boxes are all 24/7 under surveillance, right? That way we can't have people dumping off hundreds of ballots at a drop box, right? They are actively pursuing investigations into illegal immigrants voting, right? And then they're also going to do a statewide paper ballot. So there's going to be a paper and a electronic ballot, right? And this is going to make sure that there's no cheating in Virginia, right? And that's why I am confident that if this is successful, Donald Trump will win Virginia as well, right? He's going to win Virginia. He's going to win Georgia, right? In Georgia, there's not even a margin of error. Like, he's beyond the margin of error, right? So Republican ballot initiatives to shore up the security of the vote, right? Which, by the way, the DOJ sued to block Governor Youngkin from stopping illegals from voting. Guys, that's suspicious in itself, right? So, yes, that's how it's happening. All right, guys. That's going to be it for our show today. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm going to come back and do a night show probably on Wednesday night. I think on Wednesday night, there is new evidence, guys. Am I wrong about aliens? Do we have proof? Maybe. There is maybe proof of aliens. And I'm not talking about blurry fucking videos of drones like dressed up to look like aliens shot in a way where you can't tell their distance, right? I'm not talking about mistaken helicopters, right? I'm not talking about birds flying past the moon, right? I'm talking about real fucking evidence, right? Something that we would expect to see. Right? Right? Yes, James Webb. Yes. We have stunning anomalies in outer space, guys. Stunning anomalies. Right? And I want to talk about them because they're exciting to me. Right? Because it's never aliens until it's aliens, guys. And it could be aliens. Do I think it's aliens? Fuck no. But I'm a skeptic, of course, right? But could it be aliens? Absolutely. There's multiple things that we're discovering, guys. Multiple things. And so it'll be interesting for me to eat some crow, maybe. I'm not going to eat crow because nothing is definitive. But it is compelling. Compelling. What the hell's happening? I don't know. Something's going bunk. Okay, we're back. Whoa. Stuffs are working. Hold on. Okay, yay. Everything's back. Okay. Sorry, it all started glitching out on me, guys. All right, so you guys want to check that out. We're going to talk about that. And I want to start doing like real stories from mythology, right? We're gonna start with the Bible, right? We're gonna prove we can't prove Genesis, but we're gonna go over all the things that we have proven in Genesis, right? Okay. Now you're like, oh, Space, you're an atheist. Yeah, but I also believe in history, and the Bible is history, and I'm gonna. So, but if you are a Christian, I'm not. You may find some comfort in the things we're going to talk about, because this is like scientific evidence of the Bible, right? Like the Garden of Eden, right? All these things, right? We're going to prove it. Well, we can't prove it, but we have compelling evidence, right? Well, I don't know too much about the Book of Enoch. I can only talk about the things I know, right? There's lots of them, like Greek mythology, fucking Persian mythology. They're all true, right? That's going to be the overarching thing. Is like these stories are more truth than they are fiction. Yes, they have fantasy in them, right? But the underlying stories are true, and that's why our history is important, right? And that's why we should, remember our traditions, right? Like even if we're not, even if we don't believe all the fantasy part anymore, the other part, we shouldn't throw away the rest, right? We shouldn't throw away the rest, right? All right, guys, as you know, this channel is heavily suppressed by YouTube, and I do depend on your guys' support. So if that's something you want to do, please consider donating to Cash App or Venmo or my Patreon. I'm not allowed to put links to my Patreon. Oh, but I can do it now. Hold on. But I can't put them in my descriptions anymore. They won't even let me put links in. That's something you guys want to do, because they screw me over. What are you saying? The geometric explanation of creation is very compelling. I don't know anything about that. Do push-ups, lift weights, and eat red meat. Yeah. All those things are good. I prefer to get my exercise by doing physical work, you know? But, yeah. Oh, thank you, Harley Harlot. You're one of my favorite audience members. Because you always challenge me, and I like that. Yeah. Now, I am busting my ass to get this project done. As you guys can see, I'm having a lot of success. So I just want to thank everybody for supporting me up until this point. And, yeah, no. Big announcements. I should be able to build a decentralized exchange inside of the crypto app, inside of the Bubble social media, and you'll be able to buy in with Cash App. So it'll be peer-to-peer exchange, right? You guys will be doing private trades between each other, right? And you can use Cash App and Bitcoin to buy in, right? And other coins too. You'll basically be able to add whatever coin you want. No, I don't have Zello. Zelle. No, I don't have that. That's my bank doesn't my bank won't certify through Plaid. So I can't use Zelle. Just Venmo and Cash App is it. Yeah. So, yes. But yes, guys. So that's actually the AI has already we've already brainstormed a way to build a decentralized application, a decentralized peer-to-peer trading system inside of the app, right? We haven't built it yet, right? But what that means for you guys is that your coins will be like they will be like, so you will only be able to trade in Bubble, right? So that's why you guys really want to hold on to all your Bubble that you get in the very beginning when nobody cares about it, okay? Right? Because this this is not, I'm not going to launch with the trading app inside of it. That's going to be an announcement that gets made later down the line, right? That's going to be like a thing to boost us at a particular time in the future when Bitcoin is going to the moon. Now, yes, so that's important. But hey, be happy. You can always support me on my Patreon. You can just use a credit card there. So that's probably the easiest way. Like if you don't want to download Cash App or whatever. Yeah, but the AI says not only is it possible to do it my way, but like you guys won't have to share your information, right? You guys will just use your account, your PayPal accounts or whatever that are already linked to your browser, right? So you'll just sign in with Venmo in order to trade cash on the platform, right? So you'll be able to trade Bubble directly for cash. Oh, thank you, B. Thank you, B. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, so... And we will be the only people that have ever done that, guys. We will be and it's totally legal because peer-to-peer trades are legal. Private trades are legal, right? You guys aren't paying me. I'm not making any money, right? The transaction fees go to give people rewards for creating new content. So, like, I don't get rich off this. The money gets recycled down to the bottom of the pyramid. Right? This is all altruistic. Like, this is real altruism, right? And that's how that works, guys. So, yes. I am busting my ass writing code. I'm writing, like, a lot of code a day. I can't put it into terms. Maybe 30 lines of code a day. 30 lines a day that are good, right? Maybe a little bit more than that. That's like actually less than I was writing before, but it's harder now. So it's harder to get one line in now because the program is fucking huge. It is so big. It's like now JavaScript and C++. It's like a giant monstrosity. But I love you guys, and that's where I've been. So that's why I haven't been making as many videos. But we are going to make a video Wednesday, and I want to do it. I want to do that like every Sunday night. Is like kind of like revisit stories from the past that are sound fantastical and break down how they're true. Right? Right? That have so many good ones that I love these stories, and I think you guys will love them too. All right. Well, that's going to be it, guys. I want to thank everyone for coming out. And remember, we go live with all kinds of bullshit whenever the fuck I say. Because that's how we do it. All right, guys. I love you, and I'll see you soon. See you Wednesday night. Peace.